Welcome to this tutorial for our InoWorx programmer. ModbusTCP server and client devices can bridge the gap between different kinds of devices in your system. Having an inner drive be either server or client in your system can significantly expand upon communication opportunities, allowing PLC or other systems to delegate tasks or movement to inner drives, and much more. For this tutorial, we're going to assign two already created variables in our user application to the ModbusTCP client, so that when our program is up and running, an external Modbus TCP server device can serve data to the inner drive. The target inner drive will be able to perform read operations on the data and save it in variables, as well as perform write operations, updating holding registers with new data from your application. We'll be demonstrating one of each of these operations today. You can see in the variables from the resource tree that we have two variables already configured. Clicking variables will open the variable dialog box. Motor position, a signed double integer, and stage of process, an integer. Consider what data and what type of data might be valuable to you in your application. Let's select the client from the Modbus TCP section from the resource tree under Networks. Take in the client configuration dialog window. First of all, we should create a new client. Now, input the server's IP address. If the serving device happens to be an InnoDrive, you could also use the serial number or name of the InnoDrive that is the server. Select the function set. The two options are read-write and read-and-write. You're going to select these based on the serving device's capabilities. So if your serving device is an InnoDrive, it could do either, as we support function codes 3, which is reading a single, function code 6, which is writing a single, and read and write multiple registers, which is function code 23. So read-write is applicable for the server who can utilize function code 23. That is, able to do read-write operations on multiple holding registers. While read and write is applicable for those serving devices that can only perform one operation at a time, reading or writing. Be sure to select the one that fits your needs. Now, InnoDrive to InnoDrive communication will work with these default settings. All we need to do is toggle the enable server here. However, if you're communicating with another kind of device, please be sure to assess that device. Be sure if it requires address offsets or byte swapping settings to be different than what we see here. Also considering your poll rate. Once you've finished here, you can continue on to the next section, which is the actual data in the holding registers. Perhaps your application requires you to configure just the read or just the write, but we're going to do both for this tutorial. First, click Read Registers to open the config and click Add Variable. Select the variable here that you want to be the one receiving the data from the server. It will be read and stored to this variable in your application while it runs. We are adding stage of process to the application. That way we can read what stage the server's program is in and use that to inform our program. Perhaps you only enable daisy-chained InnoDrives during stage 3, or activate one of the digital outputs during stage 7. It's all up to you. Be sure the address is right. Its default is 0, and it's within 16 bits as an integer, so we can leave that as is and move on to the write portion of config. Opening the write registers here, we can add our variable motor position, which we've decided somewhat arbitrarily to be a signed double integer, and it'll be written to the server. So we could pass to the server's program exactly where the motor is on the connected client device, perhaps informing the server of indexing status or motor homing or more. Since our motor position variable is defaulted to the 0 address, we have to move it to 1 since our read variable is set at 0 and it takes up 1 address. This write variable takes up 2 addresses, so if you were to have any additional variables, they would have to skip address 2 and go right on to 3. So with our correctly addressed variables, we can click Create. Now the data will be read and written at the full rate, making more communication opportunities possible for you and your application. We have additional tutorials on our website in manual and video forms, as well as a responsive support team. If you have any questions or hit any roadblocks, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thanks so much for your time and happy programming.